Hello. First of all, thank you very, very much for helping administer this pre-ACT for our freshmen this year. I wanted to go over some of the rules and responsibilities that you guys will have as we move forward with this testing, just so you feel comfortable. Students will first meet, everybody will meet in Mrs. Butch's room. At the very beginning, we'll get a lunch count, and then after that, we'll move forward into students that need to have accommodations. We'll leave to go to rooms where that we can provide that. And that's where you guys come in. And I wanted to make sure that you understood and felt comfortable with the things that need to happen in those rooms. So first of all, I'll go through the training with you. I'll try to make it quick because I know you guys are busy. So the testing items, the testing booklets and forms and everything, you will pick those up from Mrs. Butch that morning. She will give you the exact number that your students need for testing. So the room supervisor is what you will be once you move students to another room to administer their testing. So what those responsibilities would be is making sure that there's a roster and you're going to list everybody that's in the classroom that you have. We're going to make you pick their seats. They don't get to pick their seats. And make sure that once they're admitted, like after they go to break and come back, make sure they go and sit in the same spot. Let's see. And I think that's most of it. Prepare the room for testing. So mainly it means it can't have, formulas written all over the walls or things like that. You will be responsible for making sure that the room is quiet for them and that you pick up any of the testing materials and at the end of it, and you give those back to Mrs. Butch. So, and then we can try to have somebody float through to give you a break because at no time can we leave the test materials unsupervised. There is documentation. There's a whole little packet of things, and we're going to go through what those would look like and what to do on those. So if you are being a reader for someone, then these are the following things. You have to be proficient in English, have some experience giving tests. You have to agree to follow ACT's rules, can't be related to them, that kind of thing. Responsibilities. We do have one student who we have offered the opportunity to use a dictionary because he's an language learner. He declined that and wants to do it without that. So, but we did offer that. The role of a reader is to read from the script provided by ACT without change or comment. Repeat the passage if requested by the examinee with no explanation or no additional information provided to the examinee through the reading. If using raised line drawings, do not describe the drawings, attempt to interpret the drawings, or provide information not in the drawing or not present in the drawing or any other format. So just something to kind of be mindful of. And let's see here. I don't know that we're doing a scribe for anyone, but if we are, there is some information here. Staff training, that's the piece we're kind of cruising through now. We want to make sure left-handed students have a comfortable place to write, and we'll make sure there's no cell phones. Any watches that make noise, I wouldn't have those in the classroom either. They do need to have a calculator, I think. So make sure they have that. The non-test activities have already been done. We are going to do option 1. There's option 1 is the option where we will read the instructions to them. And we'll be doing this in the regular testing room and in any rooms with accommodations. So all of those will be testing option 1, where we will be reading the instructions for them So anything in blue, we're going to read aloud to them. Let's see here. Any disruptive or prohibitive behaviors, if there is severe distraction to other students, those are things we'll need to take into consideration. But we've got all of that. When you're finished with testing, you're going to take that back to Mrs. Butch, or not Mrs. Butch, Mrs. Welch, and she will have those for us. This also says like what the code is for what accommodations we're going to provide. So if we're doing a read aloud with extended time, then we can do that. Standard print with a sensitive time. I think most of them are read aloud, from my understanding, is the accommodation that we're going to provide. And go through there. I'll research that piece a little bit more. I'll pack the materials. There will be some forms that you need to fill out. Again, they've already completed the non-test information. We cruise through that on another day. When you're admitting students, you're going to have to write on the roster, write their name, and then you're going to make an R for recognize, and then you'll put your initials on it. The sequence and timing of tests, it's very specific. It tells you exactly the amount of time, if we're doing time and a half or double time. I don't know that that's the case. I'll visit with Lisa about that. But here's a timing table for that. Timepieces, you want to make sure you have something that's accurate and preferably not a cell phone, just in case there would be an alarm or a notification. So a watch on the wall is great. Looking at your computer is also great. So you will announce the amount of time remaining in the test. They can take breaks after test 2, and it can be 10 to 15 minutes. I would lean towards 10 or shorter if they want to move through it. So when you're administering the test calculators, you can use the same ones that they use for their math class. And you'll be monitoring the room, answering questions for the students about the mechanics of the test. Yes, we can do that, but we cannot comment or add to the test directions. So allowing students to leave the room, we don't want to do that, but especially not 2 of them at the same time, but during their break, they can go at the same time. Irregularity reports. So this is if something happens that's unplanned, a fire alarm. If you do have somebody who happens to be cheating on the test, if their phone goes off, they are dismissed from testing. Those are things that I will need to fill out an irregularity report. So I'll just need the details of what time and what happened. And the whole time that you guys are doing testing, I will be available. You guys can just Google Meet or Google message me, and I'll have that open the whole time, and I'll have my email up as well. You guys will have access to all of this. I'll give you these on Monday. Verbal instructions, the exact piece that you would fill out. You are going to also have to write down where everyone is sitting in your room and write down their booklet number, is typically what ACT is doing. These are the tests. The blue sections are what you would read to them in general. And then if you're doing with accommodations, there's additional pieces for you to read. This is a sample answer form. And several. So this is like a roster that they would be testing in your room. So you would mark present, absent, one of one, you could say, and put the kids that are going there. And yes, they were here. Looks like you don't have to do an R. A seating diagram. So you're going to mark what their test booklet number was here. And if that's a desk or a seat. They need to be at least 6 feet apart. And then it's a single level we'll be doing, and 6 feet and 6 feet. And then tell how many students you're testing in this room. So you'd need to fill out this section. And let's keep going here. This is an irregularity report. So, and I would do that for you if we run into that. This is a room supervisor's comment form. So if something happened, then you can put it in here that we would need to take note of. Let's see. We've already done the non-test instruction, so I don't know that we would need these courses. I think we're done with that piece of it. Lots of blank stuff here. Those are the main pieces for you guys. So I know I cruised through it pretty quickly, but I will give you guys a copy to look through so that you can feel comfortable with that. I'll have that ready for you on Monday. And so just hopefully you'll just read through. It's pretty self-explanatory as you go through. And I know it is kind of intimidating because ACT is pretty strict on a lot of things, but they are good at giving step-by-step instructions. So cruise through that. If at any time during the testing, have a computer up, and then just message me and ask me what it is, and I would be happy to answer you. So don't feel like you're on your own. I would be happy to help. Okay. Thank you guys very much.